Your business deploys AI pilots everywhere. But are they going anywhere? Or are they stuck in silos, exhausting resources, unable to scale? Maybe you don't need hundreds of AI pilots, you need a holistic strategy. IBM has 65,000 consultants with Gen AI expertise who can help you design, integrate, and optimize AI solutions. So you're not just deploying AI, you're scaling it across your business. Learn more at ibm.com/consulting. IBM. Let's create.
Want to make a podcast? Spotify's got a platform that lets you make one super easily, distribute it everywhere, and even earn money, all in one place for free. It's called Spotify for Podcasters, and here's how it works. Spotify for Podcasters lets you record and edit your podcasts right from your phone or your computer. So no matter what your setup is like, you can start creating today. Then you can distribute your podcast to Spotify and everywhere else podcasts are heard. Video podcasts are also available on Spotify, and when you want to take conversations with your fans to the next level, Q&As and polls are the best way to get them talking. With Spotify for Podcasters, you can earn money in a variety of ways, including ads and podcast subscriptions. Ever since I discovered Spotify for Podcasters, I feel so supported in the creation and distribution of my show. Spotify for Podcasters hosts masterclasses, office hours, and more to help creators develop and fine-tune their skills. I highly recommend you give it a try. Download the Spotify for Podcasters app or go to spotify.com/podcasters to get started. Okay, hi guys. What is going on? Literally all of my devices all at once just like popped up and were like, verify your phone number, verify your iCloud, verify your, do you want this device set up on your iMessage? And I'm like, what's going on? I just want to record my podcast. But hi everybody, welcome back. I'm also like stunned because this is the 6th episode. Like what? How are we already on episode 6? But hi everybody, welcome back to 80/20. My name is Lily, I'm your host. And how are you guys doing? Because there wasn't an episode last week. I really do apologize for that. And I didn't post for a few reasons, and I should have like posted something on the podcast Instagram, but even that is like, it's so time consuming, and I'm not complaining. Like, this isn't me complaining. I'm just telling you guys like how it is. But first off, I'm a college student first, and then a YouTuber, and then a podcaster, and then an Instagrammer, etc. And I quite literally cannot keep up with my work at the moment. And last week, when I was trying to figure out how I could possibly get everything done that I needed to get done, I just couldn't carve out an extra 4 or 5 hours for the podcast, and I'm really, really sorry about that. I also, when I started my podcast, I didn't realize that I was also going to be starting school at the same time. I thought that I'd be starting school in January. Long story short, I started in October. And so the two came at the same time. It was, kind of all at once, but I'm getting my ish together. It's fine. But you guys know that I love podcasting. I love talking to all of you. I would never leave you guys totally hanging. Don't worry. I got a lot of like DMs and that was like, are you never gonna make a podcast episode again? I'm like, no guys, I just had to take the week off. I'm sorry I didn't communicate that pretty well. Which also brings me to my next point. I wanted to bring something up to all of you, and something that I don't want to do but I feel like is necessary, and also, either could or couldn't change your guys' life. I don't really know if, this podcast, if you guys are like as invested in it as I don't know. What am I saying? Wanted to ask if it would be okay, propose this idea to move the podcast to like a bi-weekly uploading schedule just for the holiday and final season. I have 3 weeks left of school, like literally 3 weeks. This mini semester is flying by so fast, and we have Thanksgiving, and then all of a sudden it's gonna be Christmas, and then all of a sudden it's gonna be 2021, and yeah, it's gonna be January before we know it. We're gonna blink and it's gonna be like new year, new month, whatever. I also would assume that you guys are very busy this time of year. Like, you guys all have finals, you guys are all like cramming all of your activities into your already tight schedules. And so I don't want to kick this thing off like we're all drowning in our busy schedules and like totally negative, because like we can all do the work and we can all, you know, put in the time to work hard and all this stuff. But truly, like, I just have to prioritize school for the next 3 weeks. And then and then I have a month off. So I can like literally make all the podcast episodes I want. So please do not fret. I would never just like up and leave you guys. But yeah, we might be moving to a bi-weekly uploading schedule. So if you guys want to be in the know about that, I'll probably talk about it like next week's or the 2 weeks from now episode. But definitely follow the podcast Instagram, which I'm trying to get better at posting on, but it's hard keeping up with even my own Instagram and then the podcast Instagram. I don't know, I feel like I need to delegate some of this work to somebody else, but I definitely not at a place in either of my like quote businesses unquote that like I could hire like an assistant or anything. But also, like, I don't know if you guys do this, I literally don't make a dime off of the podcast, and I don't want to like add sponsors or anything. I don't know, I feel like I just want this to be a place where you guys can come and just get information, and like maybe it'd be okay to do like a few sponsors if I ever get ones that I really like truly love and believe in, but I don't want to just like toss ads everywhere. And I don't know, it's just like not fun for me to just talk about like random brands, you know, like I would love to talk about brands that I truly love and use every single day, but not just like random shit. So I don't know, I literally don't make a dime off of this podcast, just so you guys know. I literally just do it because I love it. So when I say that like I need to do like school, or like I do make money off of YouTube because of AdSense and stuff, but that's like a different story. But like when I say that I literally have to prioritize, like I do have to prioritize. As you are listening to this episode, I'm currently in Indiana, and there's a number of reasons why I'm here right now. I mean, I'm not here like while I'm recording, but as you guys are listening, I'll be in Indiana. One of them has to do with potentially moving or something like that, and I say that as a question because I quite literally do not know if that's going to be a thing or not, but I will keep you guys posted. I just know, and like I can just feel it in my gut that like something like bigger and better is on the way, and like is so close that like I can taste it, but I just don't know 100% what that might be yet, but it might involve moving. So I will keep you guys posted. Be sure to follow me on Instagram, follow me on YouTube. It's all in the show notes. Also, something exciting that's happening. In a few weeks, I get my Integrative Health Midway certification. So I'll be halfway through the program, and that means that I can start helping other people with their health journey on like a more personal and like one-to-one level, which is insane. Like I could actually take on clients, like paying clients who are paying me to help them with their health journey, which is crazy. And that's something that I would literally love to do, but I don't think that I have the time to do. So stay tuned for that, because my goal is to eventually like come out with some sort of like program or a book or like a cookbook or a challenge or something, but I don't know what that's gonna look like yet. But being at this midpoint and like physically holding onto a certificate that says that so far I have the tools that I need to help people with their own health journey is such a surreal feeling. And so I'm gonna start posting more about like food and like nutrition and really like health and wellness type podcast episodes. So be prepped for that. I just wanted to wait until I got hit that midpoint. I don't know, I just feel like there's this difference between like crossing that threshold of like actually being certified and being like able to see clients, to be able to like talk about stuff that isn't necessarily just my experience, if that kind of makes sense. So anyway, this week I wanted to talk about something that's been on my mind for a few months now. And as you guys know by the title of this episode, it's all about being your own best friend. And I would probably say that for like the past, I don't know, like 3-4 months now, I've been feeling what I would call lonely. And there are so many factors playing into that, which I don't necessarily want to like go into right now, because that's an entirely different episode for an entirely different day. But a few weeks ago, I was listening to a podcast episode by Kenzie Burke, and I'm not exactly sure which one she said it in, but if I can find it again, I'll link it in the show notes. But she said something along the lines of, we are never really lonely because we always have ourselves. And that really struck a chord with me, and I was like, oh shit, you guys. Like, all this time, all these years that I spent wishing for just one solid best friend, just like one person that I could always call on, one person at school that would pick me to sit with at lunch, you know, over all the other cool girls that they would much rather sit with, like just one person that would always have my back and like would always be in my corner no matter what. And like all of these years I spent wishing for that one true best friend, like it turns out that she's been there all along, and it's me. Like, I am my own best friend. And like saying that out loud sounds kind of corny, but it's true, because we all need to be our best friends. And this isn't to like discredit the people who are always there for me and always have my back and they know who they are. But when those people like aren't around, obviously I'm all I have. And so especially right now with the pandemic and everything, I think everybody is feeling a bit lonely and just a bit off. And you know, this whole year has been so hard for everybody, and it's been such an adjustment for everybody. We've had to adapt to a different way of life than what it once was. We aren't as social as we all used to be, and it just feels different. But I just kept going back to this idea that we're not really ever lonely because we have ourselves. And then I started thinking about how maybe if I'm feeling lonely, I need to surround myself with more people that I enjoy being around. But if I don't even enjoy being around myself, like that's pretty lonely. Like, have you ever hung out with someone who is just absolutely draining? Like, they say that, you know, they haven't seen you in a long time and like you want to go out to lunch, and you just kind of feel obligated to hang out with this person and spend time with them, and then you leave the hangout session and you just feel drained and you're pissed and you're like, damn, that sucked, and you just want to like go in your room and just like watch Netflix and be alone because you just have this horrible energy to you because like that person just didn't make you feel good when you were hanging out. Like, if we're draining in our own minds on ourselves, it's the same concept. It's like this vicious cycle of hanging out with someone that we don't like, but you can't stop. And so I was thinking about this concept, like, if I'm all I have right now, especially in this season of my life where the future is truly unknown and I could go in so many different directions, like I need that relationship to be strong, and I need to be there for me and stop placing the blame and pointing fingers on other people for the fact that I'm lonely, and just turn inward and be like, okay, like this is my life. So after I had this epiphany, I developed a list of a few steps that I could take to mend this interpersonal relationship. But I wanted to share that list with you guys and share the steps that I've taken to kind of work harder at being a good friend to me. So if you guys are into note taking, or if maybe you're driving, now would be a good time, as long as you're not like going like 95 on the interstate. Like, just like glance down at the timestamp so you can come back to this later and write down these things. Or if you're just like listening around your house or whatever, you can like grab a pen and write this down if you're into that kind of thing. So this is a list of things that I came up with over the course of like the past few weeks after I had this, you know, little like chat with myself. And I hope that you guys can find something in here that can help mend that relationship that you have with you. So item number 1 is quit the self-pity. I think a lot of times we get wrapped up in our own sadness and we just walk around feeling sorry for ourselves. Like, my life sucks, I have no friends, I hate my job, I hate my major, I hate this, I hate that. And that's probably the worst thing that we could do for our mental health. And all of this self-doubt will probably snowball into if it hasn't already, snowball into horrible self-confidence issues, potential mental illness, anxiety. And I've been there. Like, I know what this type of self-pity can turn into. And so if we shift the mindset from pity to acceptance, we can really make a difference in how we perceive the relationship that we have with ourselves, which kind of leads me into my next step, which is to identify your insecurities. And you don't have to get over them. You don't have to, go out and do things to get rid of them. But just start with identifying them and recognizing that it's something that you have to deal with, and know that it's okay to deal with these types of things and feel this way. And like, your insecurities and your flaws and your concerns, they're all valid. But keep in mind that we all have them. There's not a single person in this world that thinks, well, there are probably some people that are like, I'm perfect. But I mean, seriously, like, at the end of the day, when it's just you alone in your room, I'm sure that you have things about yourself that you would want to change, but there's probably someone else looking at you wishing that they could turn whatever they had into what you have. And so it's just really important to keep in mind that no one's perfect. We all have our flaws. We all have things that we don't necessarily love about ourselves, whether it's like a physical thing or like a mental thing, or maybe it's like a habit or whatever. But we're always the hardest on ourselves. And so you have to be careful with the words that you choose to use when you're talking about yourself to yourself. Which kind of brings me into my next point, which is to talk to yourself the way that you would talk to your best friend. Like, cut the shit, cut the negative self-talk. The way that you talk to yourself sets the framework for the relationship. Why did I say it like that? The relationship that you have with yourself. So going back to the insecurities thing, if you stand in front of the mirror and you pick yourself apart, it's going to be detrimental to your relationship that you have with yourself. And you wouldn't stand in front of your sister or your mom or your best friend and just list off the things that you don't like about them. So why would you do that to yourself? Like, think about the way that you talk to yourself in the mirror, and then think about if that was someone that you loved standing in front of you and you were talking about them. Like, that's just wrong. And if you actually do that to other people, like, you have a lot of other issues that this episode probably can't help you with. But seriously, like, stop picking yourself apart and stop being so mean to yourself. Because these negative words, this negative mindset is just driving a wedge between you, yourself, and I was going to say like me, myself, and I, but you guys get the gist. You and yourself and you, I guess. I don't know. And instead of standing there saying, oh, I wish I could lose 10 pounds. I wish that my nose looked different. I wish that my hair was a different color. I wish that, I didn't have this weird freckle, or whatever you are wishing about yourself. Start your day with an affirmation. Say, like, I am confident. I am beautiful. I'm strong. I'm a good friend. I'm loved. I'm doing my best. I'm working really hard. I'm reaching my goals. And by flipping the words that you use, you can make a big difference in your confidence levels, in the way you perceive yourself. It's really all about the words that you are saying to yourself every single day. And if what you're saying is mean, like, I wouldn't want to hang out with you either, Next point. You are the only you. And no one else can do it like you. Whatever that thing is, like, no one else can do that. Only you can. So recognize these strengths that make you you, and leverage them to be the best at whatever you do. So these things that make you different, or make you feel like you're the only one, or make you feel lonely, flip that and put it into the work that you produce, into your school, into your job, into your other relationships in your life. Like, use the things that only you can do to your advantage. Step number 5. It's hard to love others until you can love yourself. Some of the most miserable people, the people who spread the most hate and the most negativity, are the most insecure people. And maybe that's because they have a bad relationship with themselves. I don't know. I don't spend much time in their heads, but I've seen it happen over and over again. And I would say that probably like without a doubt 100% of the time. Like when I get a hateful comment on a video, the person who is commenting is just unhappy with their lives. And there have been some instances where I've like DM'd a person and I've been like, hey, I don't know if you knew this, but like I read my comments and like I saw what you said. And then most of the time they'll respond back with like, oh, I didn't realize that you actually read them. I'm really sorry. Like, you know, your haircut doesn't look as bad as I said it did. Or just something so stupid like that. And I'm like, you were so unhappy that you needed to come to a space of positivity to try to bring me or anyone else watching or reading the comment section down to your level. And like, that is just sad. Like, it must suck to be that low. So if you don't turn inward and give yourself love and send yourself a little bit of kindness, you won't be able to spread it. And you also won't be able to receive it back if your heart is blocked by like darkness and hatred and negativity. So it really does start with you, and it starts with you opening your heart up to being kind and loving and positive and respectful to first yourself and then to other people, and then you can receive it as well. So those are my 5 steps. Quit the pity, identify your insecurities, be nice to yourself, recognize the qualities that you love about yourself and use them to your advantage, and love yourself at a minimum so you can love others. And you know what? I'm going to add one more thing, and it's gratitude. Every single day. If you take just 5 minutes, literally 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes before you go to sleep, your lunch break, whatever, you could do it in the notes on your phone. You can get an app for it. You can do it in a notebook. You could do it on the back of like a Chipotle napkin. I don't care. Take 5 minutes and write down just a few things that you're grateful for. And I promise it will begin to change your life. After the first 3, you will feel so much better. I don't have like the exact like study or research or whatever, but there are multiple studies, and I just know this because about a year ago when I was in therapy, my therapist gave me like a book on gratitude and how it can drastically change your mindset and change your life. Like, I know that it works, and everybody says it works. Like, if you just take a second and write down the things that you're grateful for, whether they are things that you're grateful for that you do for yourself or that other people do for you, or about yourself or about other people or about a thing, a place, like whatever it is, if you just take a second and jot those things down, it will make such a big difference in your life. So I challenge you guys this week to find a journal, your phone, Chipotle napkin, whatever works for you, and wake up 5 minutes earlier and just jot down 10 things that you're grateful for. And this is actually a really festive activity because Thanksgiving is coming up, but seriously guys, it will change your life and change your perspective and make you a better person. And I just know it will, because it works. It worked for me, it's worked for so many people, and it will drastically change your life. Also, sending and receiving gratitude with another person is a great way to strengthen a relationship. And this is kind of going into more like of an interpersonal relationship. So 2 people rather than intrapersonal, which is like being your own best friend. I'm a comm major, if you guys can tell. So one thing that my boyfriend and I do, and we've been doing since the very, very beginning, and it started as a joke, but now we do it every night. And whether we're like on FaceTime or together or whatever, it's by far my favorite like moment of the day. And we share one thing that we're glad that the other person did today, or a moment that we appreciated, or something that we loved about the day, or that we love about each other. And it's such a great way to communicate the good stuff with the people that you love. I think a lot of times we spend time communicating the bad stuff only when there's a problem, or only when there is something wrong. We're like, I didn't like how you did this, or I don't like your attitude, or I don't like whatever. And like we talked about earlier, we do that with ourselves all the time. We don't take a second and like thank ourselves for going to a workout and moving our bodies because we feel so much better. Like, we just really don't take the time to do that, but we can sit there and pick apart everything that we did wrong today. So I encourage you to share gratitude with another person if it involves them. You can say like, hey, I really appreciate that you made me a snack when I got home. I was so busy today that I missed lunch and it really made me happy because I was so hungry. Or like, hey, thanks for making the bed this morning after you got up. I had other chores to do this morning, so it was such a big help. It's just like little things like that. It is so simple, and it seems like it's so simple, but it really does go a long way. So with that all being said, I think I'm gonna seal this little short episode up with a little gratitude towards all of you amazing people listening. I know that this was a short episode, and once again I apologize, but once I am done with school in like 3 weeks, these episodes are gonna get better, and I have so many goals and like dreams for this podcast, and good things take time, so just bear with me until things get better. But I wanted to tell you guys that I'm so grateful for this platform that you guys have all given me, and I literally would not be recording this and saying all these words if it wasn't for you, so thank you. I'm so blessed that you guys would want to come back each week and listen or watch or read an Instagram post or even just like thumbs up a video or write a review on a podcast. Like, it is just crazy to me that the internet can connect us all this way, and I'm so lucky, and I'm like kind of getting emotional actually that like you guys are all in my life, and I love talking to you guys over DMs. I love creating content for you guys, and like this is my passion and like what makes me like excited to get out of bed in the morning. And so I'm just so grateful that you guys have given me the ability to do this every single day, and I love that we can do this every single week together. I hope that this episode helped you guys, and please know that you are never ever truly alone because you always have yourself. I love you all so much, and we will chat next week. Bye.